being that y'all are all here on this, I'm gonna say good Saturday, because yesterday was Good Friday. On this good Saturday, y'all here because y'all ambitious.
We are here with KP the Builder, also known as Kelley Parker. He is one half of the Construction Kings, and he is here to give us some insight on real estate and wealth building.
Yes, my name is Kelley Parker. I do go by KP the Builder, one half of the Construction Kings.
So what are you working on right now?
Working on quite a few things. We're working on a couple neighborhoods. We're working on a mansion subdivision. We're working on Atlanta's first totally modern subdivision. Working on a TV show, working on a lot. We're working on some great partnerships. We're working on a lot.
So how many projects have you done like to date?
Renovation and new construction?
Yes.
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah, hundreds.
Okay.
We hit the ground rolling. Like for Gene's 40th birthday, I think we did combined 70 properties that year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know he did 40 something himself.
Wow.
So my team and I, we were right behind.
What made you want to go into new construction?
I got tired of the renovations.
Yeah.
It's cool. You see it on TV. It really takes longer than 25 minutes to renovate a house. I know it looks fast on these episodes, on these networks, but it takes time.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a gut job, which is like taking all the sheetrock down to the studs and rewiring and replumbing the entire house, then you're actually doing more work than what it takes to build new.
Mm-hmm.
Because with new, everything is fresh, it's new, you know what you're doing, you can see it, it's an open book. But with a renovation, after you start demoing, you start uncovering issues, especially in the wet areas like bathrooms and kitchens. You're gonna have to replace more wood, right? Maybe have mold issues, etc. So I wanted to get into construction because after I did one, I realized I've been spinning my wheels with renovation. And new construction being a lot easier after you get your permits, pour your foundation, crawl space, slab, or basement. And it's just an easier process because you can set everything out on the schedule. Renovation, you can't because you're going to run into stuff.
What was your first project that you did after you decided that you wanted to get into actual development?
Right. One of the first flips I did when I moved up here to Atlanta, I did them for a gentleman. I'm not going to share his name, but he owned like 7, 8 McDonald's here in Atlanta. He also owned the 2 that's in the airport. And I linked up with him and did a renovation for him in a town called Hateville, which is right by the airport. And when I created my budget, it was a budget to get the job. It wasn't a budget to actually make any money, right? Little did I know I would shoot myself in the foot because being that he's a savvy businessman, he stuck to the budget. Okay, you said it'll be this. So guess who had to pay that extra money when it came to these short calls?
Yeah.
You know, it was me. So on that first project, I actually lost money by helping an investor make more money, all because I didn't know what the actual costs were for this renovation. You know, I jump out, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I can tell this, do this, and then think about the fees that came with it. So that helped me, you know, get a little more in tune with what things actually cost, what I should be paying for labor, as far as materials, the permitting process, etc. So once that project happened, which I'm grateful for because ultimately it made me, you know, dig a little deeper and want to explore other options when it comes to renovating, and eventually led to, of course, new construction.
With the state of the economy and kind of where the industry is, it's a lot of fear mongering, I want to say. So a lot of people feel like they're outpriced when it comes to actually becoming a homeowner, let alone becoming an investor. So like, what is your advice to people who feel that way about kind of where the market is heading?
I mean, I don't really have advice to people who are purchasing or even selling homes. I talk to the people building houses and the investor side. But life is gonna life. Like it's gonna do what it do, and you can't do nothing but prepare yourself for the good and the bad. So it's not about the fear mongering or somebody saying this, but we didn't plan for a pandemic in 19.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 2019, everybody was here, and then 2020 happened. And, you know, stuff started happening. So it's ultimately figuring out and adjusting, because life is about problems and solutions.
Yeah.
So if you can create solutions to today's problems, then you'll be all right.
What are one of the pitfalls that you experienced when you first got started doing renovation and then new construction?
Just being taken advantage of, not by, of course, like the situation I just said, because that was, I took advantage of myself. What I'm talking about is taking advantage of by using subs who don't perform the work the right way, GCs running off with money, other, you know, pitfalls like getting stop work orders because you don't have certain things in line that need to be in line, like a dumpster. You took a tree down without requesting to remove it. Now you got these stop work orders and these delays. So it's several pitfalls and delays that could cause you to like reconsider this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's all education based, because if you knew everything about what you're currently doing, then you could avoid a lot of this.
Okay. Would you suggest renovation for someone who's just starting out, like or new?
I would
construction?
suggest someone get the education first.
Okay.
Like, just don't jump in it because you know people that are doing it. Like, get educated first. That way no one will be able to take advantage of it. Like, if you understand what things cost, then that builds your confidence. And your confidence will eventually get you into the space you need to be to make more money.
Yeah.
Like, because some people jump out, oh, I can jump out and do renovations. I can jump out and do this. Nah, we have students that haven't done anything and are currently building houses, like 3,000 square foot houses, on their first project, all because they got their education.
Okay, so where should someone start when it comes to education?
Start on YouTube. Start going to, I ain't gonna say go to everybody network, because everybody don't do what they say they gonna do, or have done what they say they have done. Start on YouTube. Just get familiar with some of the process of renovation or building. Whatever you want to do, is like thousands of videos. But also, if you're not an agent, take a real estate course. You don't have to get licensed, but at least get familiar with the terminology and the process of a real estate transaction, because it's going to help you ultimately when acquiring land and learning how to run numbers and comps and understanding ARV and LTV and all these other terms that you as an investor need to know.
When it comes to projects, what do you feel like is the most important first step when you're actually starting a project?
The most important first step, outside of understanding what you want to build and where you want to build, is probably always going to go back to education. Because you hear realtors talk about location, location, location. That's good for somebody selling a house, right? But for someone that wants to make money by selling this house, then they have to understand what they have to put in this location to demand the most money. And it's not just the location, it's the amenities that you put into this house. It's the finishes you put into this house. It's the bedroom, bathroom count, it's the square footage. It's all of these things that make that location do what it's supposed to do when it comes to making money.
Okay. So do you feel like real estate is a great wealth builder, or do you feel like, I feel like it's one of the best. So like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think real estate is the best wealth builder in America. The world. I ain't gonna
the
just say
best,
America.
number one.
It's the best. I mean, you got stocks and other stuff, but I always tell people my money has an address. If I want to see my money, I can drive by it. I can, whatever. I know where my money is. It's not in a cloud.
Yeah.
You know, it's not based on what a president may or may not say. It's based on the value of that neighborhood. So being that you can get rich buying and selling houses, but you get wealthy by holding them. Wealth is created when you hold real estate, not when you sell it. So,
what is one piece of advice that you wish you had when you were first starting out?
Do it sooner. Like, I wish I could tell my younger self, at least half my age self, to get into real estate then, because I think I would be a lot further. But you know, it is what it is. God does what He does when we need Him to do it, not when we want Him to do it. So I'm grateful for that. But I would tell my younger self, get into real estate. I would tell anybody who's younger than me, get into real estate. Start learning more about real estate, because it's ultimately going to change your life for the better. But just get focused. Like, it starts in your mind. Everything we do starts in our mind, from getting up out the bed to brushing our teeth, to showering, etc. So if you get your mind together and figure out what you want to do over the next couple months, then do it. Just keep continuing to plant seeds in your head on what you want to do and accomplishing these goals, no matter how big they are. They can be daily goals, they can be hourly goals, they can be anything. They can just, as long as they're a goal that you can attain in a certain amount of time, then you're going to keep growing.
Let's dive into what you're doing for your students, because you also teach people how to do exactly what you and Gene are doing.
Right.
So what are you teaching your students, and what does that look like as far as like what your students are producing?
Our students in Building Builders Academy are learning how to build from the ground up. They're learning how to develop land from its raw stage to buildable. They're learning how to assess properties, assess deals, assess plans to make sure that they function, the functionality works, the style of home works. It's just the entire process that Gene and I have done over the last 15, 20 years, compacted into this form where they could actually learn at their own pace. So it's just, they get an opportunity that no one else is providing. And it's taught by Gene and I, and of course some more of our teammates. But ultimately, they're getting everything they need to hit the ground running.
So what type of information are your students receiving from y'all to learn?
They're receiving, it's not just the information that they're receiving the experiences that Gene and I have been through over the last 20 years. So that's the good thing about having a mentor or someone to help you. It's because you can get this information online, but you can't get the experience online.
Right.
You won't be able to understand completely how to get out of a certain scenario just by reading how to. You need someone that actually been through that scenario to help you out. So just the experience, like get someone that is doing something that you want to do, and see if they'll be a mentor, pay for the education from someone that offers. But please always just vet these people to make sure they're doing what they say they can do and have done what they say they have done.
Okay, so where can they find more information if they want to learn how to build new construction?
Follow me on social media. My Instagram is Kelley, Kelley_Parker. Another Instagram is the Construction Kings, spells just like that. And the other one is Building Builders Academy, all on Instagram.
So thank you so much for answering all these questions for us and giving us some insight. Y'all go follow Kelley, go follow the Construction Kings. You will not be disappointed. They have so many projects going on, so many big things. They have investment opportunities for individuals who want to get into real estate but don't necessarily want to get their hands dirty. And so much going on, so many great things, mixers and all of the above for you to get in the room with like-minded people, to find your people so that you can build what you're trying to build and ultimately build wealth. So thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see you soon.